So this is my second digital design slideshow. My project is to make a promotional video for the NIST Middle School Student Council. My client is Mr. Andy Nightingale, and these are the steps I've taken so far to create my video. Let's talk about some primary and secondary research. One very important piece of primary research I had to do was conducting interviews with members of the StuCo. I managed to interview the co-president Charlotte and IDT, and also the Year 9 head. I intended to interview Year 7 and 8s to see a perspective from like the newer middle schoolers, and I even got in touch with some of them. However, our schedules didn't match, and it wasn't really possible. An important piece of secondary research I did was watching previous videos for the same client. One of the videos that inspired me was Sabrina's promotional video about the same group, the student council. It had multiple techniques in it that I wanted to really use, and this one, in which she writes the text on the side of the screen in non-iMovie font, is the one that caught my eye the most. I realized that to do this, I needed to ask her in person, so this was also primary research. These are the steps to creating it. So I'm just going to show you how to do the green screen text effect in practice. This is just a bit of test footage. It's drone footage from this field. Okay, so the first step is to get your image ready. To do this, simply go on Google Slides, and you change the background color. I already have it done, and I got the number by searching it up. It's this hashtag OOB140FF. Okay, so that's the exact green screen color. Then you add a text box, looks like there's one already, and you change the font as you wish. So you can write anything. For example, this was my introduction, so I could write intro to my video, right? And then it's better if you present and take a screenshot, as it will be in higher resolution. However, for the purposes of this video, I'll just take a screenshot right here. So you basically take a screenshot, make sure to not pick up any of the white areas, and you go to your desktop, take that screenshot, and just drag it on top of the video. Now there's multiple things you can do to this. Up here, there's like an image options button, and instead of cutaway, you choose green over the screen, which instantly gives you this effect. Now you can choose it to fade in by dragging this small node along, and then it will just do something like this. If you would like to get rid of Kenburn, just go to crop and choose fit. An important piece of secondary research that I had to do was figuring out how to use different types of B-roll. Charlotte's video, who also made a video for the Middle School Student Council, inspired me to use more B-roll and to use it effectively. Her whole video is primarily B-roll, and it really made a lot of difference in how much attention it captures. Since I was focused on telling the story of the Middle School Student Council through interviews, I simply used the B-roll to emphasize points in interviews. I figured out how to do a cutaway, quite by chance actually, because I just dragged the video on top of it and it just happened. And I used this to show B-roll over interview footage, with the interview audio playing. And as you saw earlier, there is a cutaway option right above the green or blue screen option. I found this technique quite by chance as I mentioned it, and I used it multiple times in my video to cover plain speaking with more interesting footage. Development. I'd say I went from iMovie to normal. My first draft had way too many transitions, and they were quite random. And the whole thing was people talking, and there wasn't very much useful text, as I still hadn't learned to do the green screen effect. Cutaways are good, but it's only a couple of seconds, and there was really fragmented music. To show you what I mean, this is my first draft. I saved it specifically because I knew I would need it for this kind of presentation. So the intro is the same. However, right here, there's like a really iMovie introduction, and this is the same. I'd say the volume is too loud, and I lowered it later on before I realized I should save the first draft. And things like this, it doesn't look very good. And the only thing I'm proud of right here is the cutaway, which is pretty much the only thing I kept intact in the final version. The music is fragmented randomly, and there's many transitions, many of which are not even the same. Fragmented music, and this whole last stretch is just people talking. Some cutaway here, which I also kept intact. I was trying to do something like this, like if they're selling prom tickets at lunch, I try to do that in these ones, but it doesn't really work because I don't want to cover the person who's being interviewed. And the ending is just a command. I think it would be better if I changed it. So after that, I realized that less transitions actually look cooler sometimes. Text should be custom to not appear iMovie. Introduction can be pretty because it's the first thing the audience sees, and it must capture their audience and must capture the audience instantly. I tried to add more B-roll. It was difficult because I didn't really have much B-roll, and a lot of it was basically the same thing. But yeah, I think I managed my B-roll better, and I timed it better with the interview talking in the final video. So this is my original storyboard for my first presentation. As you can see, many things are not actually included in the video. I'll show you in a moment. For example, it says start with B-roll montage showing title. I obviously did not do that and simply had drone footage. This says transition to student interviews by introducing them. I did interview them on plain background as it says in the storyboard, so I could add text like this, and it introduces them to a little tag at the bottom, this type of thing. Yeah. Next up, we have talk about the importance of Stuco. Well, this is basically done through the interviews, as the interviews were very helpful in emphasizing these points and showing exactly what is really good about the Stuco. There are many things that show the importance of Stuco and why and how they're leading the school forward. Showing examples of student leadership. I didn't have that much B-roll, as there are no real archives for the NIST Stuco videos or anything. I asked the Stuco leaders, they didn't have any idea. And so I ended up with things like just selling prom tickets and the meeting footage. I think that's sufficient evidence considering the resources I had. Finally, I was able to summarize the benefits of the student council because I had an entire section, just simply like after this, why should you join the Stuco? This entire section is just dedicated to reasoning for why you should join the Stuco, and it ends with a very clear message saying join the Stuco. So that was well met. This would be my final storyboard. The gray ones are what was kept same, and the orange ones are just the new additions. So I'd say the drone footage is a very smooth movement and much better movement than a montage. A montage would have been cool, but I just did not have the resources to do that. And I have a series of interview clips that summarize why someone should join the council, which summarizes the benefits of student council, but they're quite interrelated.
I would definitely say that seeing how much the student council can do and seeing the power that it gives one person is just amazing, and I think that's what kind of inspired me, was the fact that I could make such a huge change. The best part of being part of this part of the student council is that we work as a team. We all kind of have a fun time collaborating together. We get the best ideas possible, and we really, I think it's really fun to know that you can project the voice of so many other people who are not part of the council, and you can do it in a fun way. Yeah. Actually, being part of the student council and being a member has changed my life completely. I was someone who wasn't very outgoing and wasn't someone who would make friends easily, but I think student council has helped me come out of that shell.
So as I mentioned, we create a bunch of events, a bunch of activities, and this really helps to bring the students together. So it helps you to become a more organized person, increases leadership, collaboration skills, and makes you feel like more fulfilled as a person because you have more things to do.
So some key reasons why I would say you should join student council is because, one, it really helps you build up your confidence and your speaking skills. It helps you look at school and all the work you do in another perspective, which you might not be able to if you're just another ordinary student. 3, it gives you that pride of knowing that you are elected as part of the committee and that other students believe in you and that you can do the best. And obviously 4, that once you see the end result, it's amazing to see how much your hard work can be reflected into that.
Like, makes you feel more important sometimes because you know that you have to like do something for the community and you have like a job, a role, and yeah.
It's a fun opportunity, and you get to learn more about communication skills, leadership, and it's an opportunity for you to make a better community for the students of middle school. Thank you.
I've really been impressed with the video that Sean's put together. I think our co-presidents did a really nice job of explaining what the student council is all about. And with that excellent kind of overview, Sean's done an amazing job of being able to put that, the words and the phrases that we really wanted to pick out, which are important around student council, with the footage that is then overlapped on top. I think that's been a real key to making this video successful. I also like the text on within the slideshow is really done a good job of being able to pick out the key words, the key phrases that the students have said and talked about, such as organisation, leadership, communication skills. that we're looking for in all new students that are looking to join student council. So in terms of improvements and feedback, I can't really think of anything now. I think it's just such a really nice video. The 2 minutes 50 seconds is probably around perfect for me to be able to show that perhaps in the next whole middle school assembly early in August.
So basically, my client was quite pleased with the video, and they thought that I met all of their client needs and specifications. They didn't really suggest any improvements, though I will in a moment. They think the video suits their needs, and that it's possible that this video will actually be used in future assemblies. The important part of my evaluation is to identify what challenges I faced and what improvements I could have made. The challenges I faced were obtaining B-roll, finding time to interview, finding inspiration, managing time to work on my video, getting feedback from my video, and finding the right test audience. Obtaining B-roll was a challenge since I couldn't really attend that many of the meetings as it clashed with my schedule as well. And the meetings, well, the footage was quite similar from all the meetings that I actually went to. I could have photographed events, however, it wasn't really possible since I don't always have a device on me. Finding time to interview was also difficult, but I managed to do it. For year 7 to 8, I would have liked to interview them, however, their schedules didn't really match, as I said earlier. Finding inspiration, I found inspiration quite late into the project, and I found this document quite late. And after that, it worked better. Managing time to work on my video was difficult as well, since in the class I spent a lot of time looking for advice and figuring out how to get started. Getting feedback for video was quite difficult, and I only have my client as the real solid piece of evaluation that I have. To do this, I would have to find the right test audience, which I couldn't do, since none of my target audience's schedules would actually match. Some improvements I could make are adding more B-roll by adding more interesting filming techniques, since I didn't do a lot of research on this. I should research more and not be afraid to try, since the filming was quite consistent throughout the video. There should be less people talking as well. I could include footage from actual events. This would be a difference from previous videos of this kind for this client, since it can be hard to get this kind of footage. I could film at these events myself if I attend. I could also make the music work better, as some of the music was still quite fragmented and sounded like they'd been cut, and this can detract from other positive things. I should leave the music intact from the beginning and let it stay that way.